Hello and welcome to Library Drawing Party. Today we're going to be drawing this beautiful cardinal. To get started, let's take our red colored pencil and start outlining our cardinal. So the first thing we're going to want to do is draw the beak. So we have a half circle here and then a straight line underneath it. And then another half circle to show that the mouth is open and going for the bird feeder. And then a half circle underneath that. Then we're going to draw on the top of the head, which has a dip and a bit of a bump. Let's stop here for a second. Let's take our black and let's work on the eyes. So we have a dark spot here and then an even bigger dark spot here. And then the black comes around the beak. And we have a little bit of feathers underneath the beak. And it's all connected. Now let's go back to our red. And then let's finish the outline of the head. So we're going to go down the neck. And we'll go down the neck on the other side. And then let's start on the wings. So there's a little line here. And then the line goes up. And we have a bit of a half circle here. And then it curls around towards the head. Now every cardinal in nature is going to look different, so it's perfectly fine for yours to look different than mine. Alright, now I'm working on the body right now. We have this nice half circle for the underside of the body, and then we have a half circle in the opposite direction on the other side. And then we have some bottom feathers that fan out a bit. And there's a V in between. And let's go back to the wings. When you're drawing the wings, you want to press lightly with your red pencil because this part is almost translucent. We want to have some edges with triangles, but it's going to be mostly smooth. Now at this point, let's take a step back. And if you're happy with the drawing, we can start to add in our base coat. So the entire body of the cardinal is going to be red. So we can fill this in. You don't want to press all the way because we are going to do some blending. This way we can get the red color established. We're going to color the beak red too. And we can color a bit of the wings, especially near the top of the wings. It's almost like an arm. And then the part where the wings attach to the body is also going to be mostly red. And then we have red lines to indicate the different feathers. And we don't want these to be stick straight, because a feather is never going to be completely stick straight, but we do want to emphasize the direction. It's almost like the clamshell that we were working on for sunrise. Okay, now at this point, let's start working on our shading for the body. What's good about doing this in red is that when you emphasize parts, if you go right over your original outline, you can make those adjustments and it just blends right in with the drawing because it's the same color that we're using for our shading. So right now I'm emphasizing the neck, and let's do the beak. And let's add some vertical lines for the bottom feathers. Add a bit more color to the wings and a bit more to the head. Okay. Next, let's finish the wings. So the edges of the wings actually have this light blue color. So let's put that really faintly. You can think of this as the feather is starting to blend the red color with the green of the background. And then I'm taking a peach color to connect the blue to the red. You can also blend the red a bit with this. And then I'm taking a sand tone or tan color to give it a bit of a yellow. So we almost have a rainbow effect going on in our cardinal wings. I'm going to carry this yellow color into the red. Really help it pop. And I'll put some in the body. This will help bring out that red color. Next up, I'm going to take my dark brown and add in some more shading. You can also use black for this. I'm going to take my tan or sand color and draw in the feet. We have one like this, and then there's another one that comes down and then back up. And I'm going to take my dark brown and give some shadow to the feet. Okay, there you have your cardinal. So now let's give him a background. So the first thing I want to draw is the bird feeder, because we want to make sure that our cardinal is going towards the bird feeder. And actually we can put in some shadow to the beak too. So I drew a circle or oval, and then a couple of straight lines, and then another half circle for the top of the bird feeder. I'll draw 2 straight lines and then another half circle to create a cylinder. And then I'm going to do another half circle for the base of the bird feeder. And I'm going to fill this in with brown. And I want my lines to mostly follow the same direction as the cylinder for our texture. Now for the inside, you're going to want to leave a little white around the ring or the rim of the bird feeder so that we can see that we're looking inside the bird feeder. And I'm going to take my tan and fill in the cylinder. I'm going to take some red and add some dots. And you want the dots to be organic and not uniform. I'm going to take my dark brown, add some more dots so you can have some clusters. But the seed wouldn't be uniform, so we want this to be pretty free-form. Then we can even take our tan and add some dots in with the tan. You can add in some shading too. We're just trying to show different bird seed. Next, we're going to draw the main branch, which goes in between the bird feeder and the cardinal. It's almost like the trunk of the tree. And then let's go ahead and fill in this branch. And you want the lines to be going vertical and following the direction of the branch or tree trunk. And we have some smaller branches. This one is coming off of the main branch. And there's a branch in the corner here. And as with the cardinal, every tree in nature is going to be a little bit different. So if you have more branches or less branches than mine, it will still look natural. We have a few branches going horizontally. I'm just going to sketch those in now. And they're going to pass through or over some of the branches that we just drew. We don't want the branch to go through the cardinal or the bird feeder though, because we want those to be in the foreground. Because the bird is translucent, you can see some of the branches through the wings. So you can draw in some shadow to show the branches. Then we have a big one right by the feet. Once you have the big branches drawn, then we can start adding in some detail. And there's some small, very small branches coming off of the trees. And then some medium-sized ones. And there's a few that hang down towards the ground. And there's a curling one over here. Once you have your branches outlined, we're going to draw the ribbon that's holding the bird feeder up. So I'm going to use this bright green to differentiate it a bit from the greenery of the leaves. And then I want it to be hanging on to this branch. So we can go around the branch there. And let's take our tan and let's give some highlights to the branches. Now let's take our dark brown and add some shadow. And this is mostly going to go on the bottom or the base of the branches. And you're going to want to pay attention to whether they're in front of or behind either the other branches or the bird feeder. We want the bird feeder and the cardinal to stay in the foreground, so our shadows need to work around them. This branch I want to be pretty dark to show that it's thick and able to hold up the bird feeder. Then you can add in some darker pieces to make the bark a little bit more varied too. Once you're happy with your branches, then you can start to work on the leaves. So we'll take a light green and we'll just give the whole thing a coat of light green. I'm doing horizontal lines. You can do any direction really, because The leaves would be going in many different directions. I'm using the side of my pencil so that I can add the color, but it still will be light and easy to draw on when we do our blending for the leaves. You can also use watercolor for this step. Once you have your base coat drawn, you can start to draw in the leaves. So these are just going to be little circles, and they're going in every direction. And they're going to be covering the whole background because the leaves are present on the whole background. But you want certain parts to be emphasized. You want some parts to be darker and some parts to be lighter, so how hard you press on your pencil should depend on whether you want to highlight a certain section or if you want that to be more in shadow. This is a good textural element. Nice contrast to our smooth cardinal. Once you've drawn your leaves with your light green, you can take your dark green and start to add in some more shadow. It's a good opportunity to highlight leaves that are near the branches. You can do circles or you can do heart shapes too. And there you have it. That's our cardinal. Thank you for joining us in this week's library drawing party. We hope to see you again next week. We have library drawing parties every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and keep being creative.